In speaking to your son the other day, he said, he knows how much you love him, but he can't remember the last time that you actually said those words, I love you to him. And I know that's something, for whatever reason, that's difficult for you. And I wonder, how much do you think your father impacted you as a father?
Well, another very good question. I didn't like my father. I didn't respect my father. And I think these are things that make it difficult for me to say I love you. I hear people say, I love you for this, I love you for that, I love you, I love you, I love you. To me, it's a word that shouldn't be thrown around loosely. I think my family, my wife, my children know how much I care about them. They know. And I'm not a demonstrative person. I'm not.
When you were growing up, how afraid were you to go home?
I didn't go home till it was dark, unless it was raining.
Why not?
Well, it wasn't pleasant to be around my house. It wasn't pleasant at all. And I told you, I'm defiant. And sometimes when you're defiant, it irritates the wrong people. And obviously I irritated the wrong people sometimes.
That being your dad?
Yes, yes.
How physically abusive a household was it?
Well, as I say, when you grow up in this, and my father certainly wouldn't be here to talk about it, okay? And it's probably not fair to him. But when you grow up, when, you live paycheck to paycheck, he ended up at the end of his working days, he ended up working for a coal mine, not as a coal miner. He worked for a coal mine, but he was an electrician. And, it was a lot of stress to get up every morning at 4 o'clock and get home at 6 o'clock. To even meet any financial obligations you have. There wasn't really anything in our house. And yet, no one didn't go, didn't starve. But, I think the things that, when you have an imagination and maybe when you dream things that you want to happen, never happen, it becomes difficult, becomes very difficult. And I know that there were times I was probably didn't want to eat the same thing for 5 days. And I wouldn't do it, and that's when the defiance came in. I'm not doing it. That's when the problem came. So it wasn't all him. It was me too. But I think my father didn't have a high school education. He didn't really have an education. My father was brilliant.
I believe you had 6 siblings, or one of.
Well, there were 3 boys and 3 girls.
And there were 23 years separating the oldest and youngest. You were the second youngest, and you, I think, really bared the brunt of the abuse. But how bad did it get at times?
Well, honestly, I really didn't want to come home. There's times I didn't want to be there. And yet, I had, where did I have to go? I didn't have anywhere to go. So that's why I spent all my time in the outdoors and basketball. Particularly after my brother was killed in Korea, it became my greatest love in life. The
outdoors and the activity was kind of the escape?
It was an escape, and probably the worst times when, when it was snowing back there and you really couldn't go out, it was like, I almost felt trapped.